Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pull a commode and reinstall it. In most cases, you'd want to do this if the commode is seeping water from around the bottom. Leaking around the bottom, you'll need to replace the wax ring seal gasket in between the floor and the commode opening. You can also need to pull a commode for a different reason, like putting new flooring down and or removing something from the commode, as in my case, accidentally flushed something hard in the toilet and it didn't go down and I needed to get that out. Please like, share, and make a comment if you found this video useful. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Well folks, I laid a golden egg. I was throwing out some food from Thanksgiving that I found in the refrigerator, and one of the little containers had greens in it and it looked like a piece of meat. Threw it in the toilet, hit the flush. I guess that piece of meat was the tip of a turkey wing. Stopped up my toilet. Got it flushing super slow. I came in here, plungered it a bunch last night, stuck my hand up there, and I actually felt the little bone. I went to go get a fishing lure to hook it on there, and dang, it went down. I thought it went down. It flushed like 10 times. I poured buckets of water down there. Everything was great. Wake up this morning, stuck again. Now when the toilet was flushing a little, I was going to try to flush that rooster tail down there on the end of that fishing line and let it go down about a foot and then bring it back up, hopefully hooking that piece of turkey wing tip, but couldn't get it to go down. It wouldn't flush fast enough. So this is a teaching lesson for unstopping your toilet. Now if you know it's something in there like a diaper, underwear, some other piece of clothing, dryer sheets or something like that, you could just stick a snake down in there, wind it clockwise, grab that stuff, pull it out, throw it in the trash. But if you know it's something hard, piece of plastic, chicken bone, turkey bone, something that is not probably going to dissolve, or you can't hook it with a snake, you're going to have to pull this toilet up. So I went to the hardware store, I bought a couple things, and I'm going to show you how to pull the toilet up, check it, get anything out of there that may be in there, pencil, piece of plastic, piece of bone, put this stuff back together. Let's get started. Standard wax toilet bowl ring. I assume that this toilet is put on with a standard ring. However, if this floor is several layers up, it may need a high or extra thick ring. We're going to go with standard. I probably should have bought both. I bought the standard one. Then I got this little snake. It's for regular sinks, stuff like that. Basically, you push these down in there and then you crank them clockwise so that you can hook whatever's on there. That's why the end of it looks like that, so it can hook things and you can pull things out. However, I'm pretty sure this is a tip of a turkey wing, so I put my hand down in there, and that's what you got to do. You put as much clean water down there as you can. Reach your hand down there. If you feel it, you might be able to pull it out. If you can't feel it, it may be up higher in the toilet. If you look at the toilet, that shows you how the water drains. It goes up over that loop. Now I'm assuming my piece of bone went up over that because I was able to flush it for a while, but it's not a guarantee. So you want to get a car towel or something. You don't mind getting wet with toilet water. This should be clean water. You want to cut off your water supply there. If this stuff looks ancient and rusted, you might have a problem. Now you could undo it there, or you could undo it here by hand. So we're going to cut off the water supply. That's off right there. We're going to flush the toilet, get as much of the water out of it as possible. Hold the toilet flusher down so that it empties as much water out of the top of the tank as possible. Once it all empties out of the tank, you could actually plunger it and it'll force water to go down the bowl. So let's go ahead and do that. Crap, let's splash back. This is for some water to go up over the edge of that. You want as little water in there as possible so that you spill as little as possible and it weighs less. So the toilet is almost empty. Alright. Now, since you got this thing, you could actually do this by hand. Put your towel down there to catch any water that's going to drip. You can set this in the tub or on the floor. Now, if this shutoff isn't any good, it's going to be running water even when you disconnect it. See how easy that was? Came loose by hand. This is something that's been replaced within the last 10 years. It's going to leak a little bit of water, not much. See, it's got a rubber gasket in there. You should be able to turn that in by hand. Now you want to take the top of the tank bowl off so you don't drop and break that. Lift that up, set it aside, put it in a different room. Just get it out of your way so you don't break it. So as you can see, the back of the toilet bowl is pretty much empty. The bottom of the toilet is pretty much empty. So now you have screws on both sides and nuts. You pull those nuts off of both sides. Then this toilet is held down and sealed by that wax ring. Now, if that wax ring is bad, you will only know it if the toilet starts to back up. If the toilet flush is fine, the bottom of the toilet goes down far enough so that it shouldn't leak out the sides. So this is not tight as a seal. It's just tight to stop the toilet from rocking. So take the bolts loose on both sides. So you got the nut, you got the metal washer, and this plastic washer is actually the clip for the cap. But the cap was missing on this side. That cap there. Oh, here it is. It's over on this side. So let me go ahead and take this side loose too. You can wipe all this stuff down with a rag and some Clorox cleaner. It could be nasty bodily fluids. A lot of those bolts break off or can be cut off so that they're not so high. And these can lock in over them and look nice as a cover. But those are too long, so they kind of stick up. Once you have that bolt off and that bolt off, this toilet, of course, in the water line disconnected, this toilet will lift up and off, and it probably will not leak. I normally grab it with two hands here. You can rock it to pull it up, or you can just pull it up slowly, and it'll break loose from this wax ring. I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Oh, it's coming up really easy. So let me lift it up and move it aside out of the way so that I can look under it, see if I can see that bone, and look down in the drain. It's also a good idea to have something to stuff in the drain so that the gases from the sewer don't come up in the room. Sometimes there's not another P-trap in the system to stop gases from coming up from the sewer system. Now a lot of these, once it leaves the toilet, it goes down a little bit and it hits a trap that curves up and over like an S. They call those P-traps. And water sits in there, stops the gases from flowing back up into the house. But in case you start getting sewer gases, you want to plug that hole with some rags or some plastic or something so you don't get all those fumes in here. I'm going to close this door, turn on the exhaust fan just in case these gases start coming back up in here. Now this trap here in the toilet is stopping those gases from coming up. Now that little bit of water will stop gases. Let me lift it up, set it aside, close the door, grab something to clog the hole, and see if I can find where this bone went. Now when you lift this toilet up, try not to let it fall over and break the back of this tank or you'll be buying a toilet. Now this tank is bolted to the toilet with 3 bolts. Most of them are only bolted with 2. So you want to be careful and gentle with this, making sure you don't let that thing tilt over or fall over and break the back tank. But you don't have to remove that. But if you wanted to, there's probably a couple of nuts down there that you can see and undo to take the tank off of the base of the toilet. I don't know anybody that would do that. Just be careful. So there's the wax ring there. As you can see, it's smashed down. It may have had 2 wax rings on there, so that may need 2 wax rings. But these bolts here, they slide into the channel and they lock into place in the base of the toilet there. So I'm gonna run water down there to see if water just goes down there. You could do it with a hose, or you could pour water down there with a bucket. Just be careful not to make a mess. See if that backs up and slows down. If that backs up and slows down, the bone's probably stuck in there somewhere. If it flows nice and fine, the bone's probably still in the bottom of this toilet somewhere. I'm gonna lay the toilet down and try to dig it out. Here's the bolt that sits on the bottom. You see it's shaped kind of like an egg or a football. It falls in the channel and then it slides around, and then it can't turn all the way around, and it lets the nuts get tightened down on there. I'm not sure if I've had this up before. Ouch, dang it, I just cracked the little neck of that goes down there. But it seems like it's off center. Doesn't matter, it hasn't been leaking. So what you want to do is scrape the old wax ring off of there and set the new wax ring on there, and then press the toilet down on there and snug those bolts down when you reinstall it, just to seal that off. Now I don't smell any gases coming up through there, so I hadn't plugged it with any plastic or anything. But if you smell gases, you definitely want to plug it. So there must be a P-trap down there a little further. I poured a bucket of water down there, nice and fast, no kind of hesitation, so more than likely my bone is still stuck in the toilet. When I put my hand down in the toilet, I can't feel it. It is what it is, folks. You could glove up if you want, but I don't feel it. So I'm gonna lay the toilet down and look in through the bottom and see if I see that bone in there. The remainder of the water that was in the toilet spilled out. Most of it was caught by that towel. I need another towel. Catch some more of this water from running all over the place. Toilet water. And I'm gonna look in there, see if I can find that bone. And I'm going to run the snake in there, see if I can push it out, because it hooks up around in there. You got 2 purposes of a snake. One is to hook on the things that may be down in there, like cloth, paper towel, stuff like that. Another is to push things through that may be stuck. You can push anything through there that'll fit. Piece of plastic, flexible garden hose, anything. But you want to get to see it up through the other side and make sure this is all clear. Now something is stopping this thing from flushing, so something's in here somewhere. So let me go ahead and run this in there. Now this here is really not anything complicated. Now this one's got a stop on it to stop it from kind of locking in place. But so it's locked in place right now. It won't pull out. So what you do, you unlock this one. Now you can pull this stuff out and push it into the drain that you're trying to clear. And then once you got it pushed in as far as you want it, or when you feel a blockage, you lock this pin back over. That'll lock the cable from going in and out. And you hold the handle of it, and then you twist that handle, and it will hopefully grab whatever you're trying to snag and pull out of the drain. Pushing it through the bottom, I didn't have any results, so I decided to push it through that way and jamming it through for less than 30 seconds. I felt it click. Now I come back here and I can see that piece of turkey in there. So let me try to pull that out of there with a pair of pliers or something, and I should be good to go. So there it is, a piece of turkey. It ain't no bigger than most turds, but it's enough to slow down my flushing on my toilet. I could go ahead and scrape off this seal and put the new one down, put this toilet back on. Now this looks like it had a couple gaskets on it, but this is a good time to clean up your floor around here. So I'm gonna grab some bathroom cleaner, clean this whole corner out, and then scrape up that seal, put the new standard seal down, and remount the toilet. See this seal sits on the bottom of the toilet around that pucker there, that little spout, and that sits down in there, and when you flush, the stuff just goes down into the drain and doesn't leak out because of that wax gasket. To get this snake back up in your snake little holder thing, you unlatch it and you just push it back up in the hole, and it'll wind itself back up in the handle area until you need it again. Again, you're more than welcome to use gloves. I'm just going to wash my hands real good when I get done with this. I'm using a plastic knife to cut around the seal. You could use a putty knife or anything, just to get that old seal up that's you broke the seal on, pulling it out of there. Put that in the trash and set your new seal on top of that area. I wouldn't do no more cleaning than that. I just shaved this wax gasket off. I'm gonna throw this in the trash, set the new one in place. As you can see, the wax gasket's right there. Set it down over that. Probably best to get this screw thing out of the way. That thing did not seat center the last time, but that's okay. Set your gasket down over that. Press it in place a little bit. Put your finger down in there. Pull this up. It didn't stick. You want to get this to stick on that seat. Pull this up. It's not working well. Let me try this one more time. I'm going to press the ring down on that, and it should stick to that, and then pull the casing up. If not, you're going to have to try to peel it out of that casing, or just tear the casing off that way. That's what I may have to do. Peel it off like a wrapping paper. So I need the gasket down around there. Now I'm going to peel it up by this torn piece here, since it wouldn't come up on the center. You want this gasket to stay down on that base that's down there. This is designed to come right off, even though it's not. So let's peel it off like that. Let me use two hands. Get all this black plastic stuff peeled off of it. Remember, this is a soft wax, so you don't want to wipe it with a towel or nothing. That stuff will get in the towel and then you won't be able to get it off. Now I'm going to take these screws, anchors, and put them back down in here. Let me clean this one off a little bit. But they fall in the channel where the channel's bigger, and the mount that's attached to the floor, and you spin them around, so when you set the toilet down on there, they'll come through the base of the toilet. So let me clean this one off and center this a little bit more so I can set the toilet down on there and the toilet make a seal. The way that this toilet will seal that off, you want to press the toilet down on there so that this forms on that lip in the toilet hole, and then you want to snug these screws down so the toilet doesn't rock. If you tighten these down with any force, these bolts, you'll likely break your toilet base. So don't tighten them, you just snug them down so that the toilet's not rocking is the whole point. Some of these anchor bolts here have areas on them that you can break them away so that they're not up too high where you can't get those caps on them. But this one isn't a breakaway. I might cut them after I get the bolts on. This is a softer brass metal. It should cut with a hacksaw very easy. That the wax ring in place, that wax ring cost less than $2. I got the bolt sticking up. Let me set the toilet down on there and then screw that back on there. Snug those nuts down, cut them off, and put the caps on. So you need a well-lit area to be able to drop that toilet down on there right. Once it sits down over your two screws, Now you want to make sure the toilet is straight, the way it's supposed to be. Mine is cocked a little bit. So I'm just going to twist it straight, and then I'm going to press down on it. You could do that pressing down by sitting down. And then I'm going to hook up that water line and put that cap retainer on, the washer on, the 11mm nut on, and then saw the bolts down a little bit so that I can get the caps to lock on. I'm only going to cut them off enough to get the caps back on. I'm not going to cut them down too low. Clean that off, and again, you only want to snug these down, not tight. You just want to stop the toilet from rocking. And if a few days go by, the toilet starts rocking, pop the caps off, snug them down a little bit more. They may have settled down from people sitting on the toilet and crushing that gasket a little more. I got that cleaned off, cut a little piece off with my little saw, snap that on. I put that on by hand snugged. I didn't really tighten it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut on the water supply, see if it leaks. It's filling up the back of the toilet. Probably also filling up the bowl. And I scratched the inside of the bowl with that snake, so I'm gonna clean that out after I flush it a couple times, make sure I don't have no leaks. So it's totally dry around here. So I'm gonna let it fill up, flush it. I know it's gonna flush nice and fast, and then we're gonna check for leaks, make sure we don't get no leaks. Then I'll check back in a couple days for leaks. It just stopped filling up. I'm gonna flush it right down. No turkey bone. Gave me a double flush. Make sure I don't have no. Yep, I got a little water there. So I need to press the toilet down, snug it down a little bit more with the screws. Might not have pressed it down far enough. Pressed down on the toilet a little bit more, sat down on it for a few seconds, made sure this bolt was snug, and now totally dry. Best way to check for wetness is with paper towels. Should be good to go. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.